Hi, I'm Rachel Sheldrick from the Workshop Whisperer, and welcome to this week's training. This week we're talking about something that you will have experienced in your auto repair shop and maybe even in your personal life. And it's to do with the way a situation, a customer relationship, an employee relationship ends. Now, you can be on the right or the wrong side of this, and this training is going to help ensure that you're on the right side of it. Okay, so today I said we're talking about when a customer relationship or interaction ends and when an employee relationship with you also ends. Now, we've discovered here at the Workshop Whisperer that there are really two ways that a relationship can end when we're talking about the customer or the employee context. Now, the first one of those ways is with a handshake. Now, that might be a handshake in person or perhaps more likely over the phone, through an email or a text message. And these days, it could just be a metaphorical handshake. And that means that despite what's happened, if it's a customer, they may choose to go to another repairer, but they don't go out in a blaze of anger and glory. You simply agree to part ways and that customer moves on. The same thing when it's an employee. An employee may decide of their own accord to opt out of your working environment for a number of reasons. Maybe they feel there are other opportunities elsewhere. Maybe they're looking to get promoted somewhere else. Maybe they're moving out of town. Maybe it's on your side and you've just decided that you're unable to accommodate their employment anymore, and you've taken all the necessary steps. They're okay with it, so you shake hands and off you go. We'd call that a handshake. It ends relatively well. But the other way we've noticed that these relationships can end is by burning the boats. So not just burning a bridge, but literally sailing away from the island, landing somewhere else, burning the boats so that you can never go back. Things are unlikely to be repaired when the boats are burned. Now, in the customer sense, this can be where a customer feels very misunderstood. They may feel taken advantage of, like you have not delivered on your promises. And rather than have a civil conversation with you, rather than be willing to be centered emotionally and come to the discussion table, they may go and leave you a nasty 1-star review. They may threaten you. They may make a nasty phone call, write something terrible on Facebook, or recruit other people to do that as well. That's burning the boats in a customer sense. When it comes to an employee, this may be that employee leaving in a very bad way. And this can even be a way that you exit your employee, where you burn the boats because you haven't done a great job of managing their exit. Or perhaps you didn't do a great job of being a leader and managing their exit was just as bad an experience as having them work there. The idea of this training is to make you aware of what often can lead to somebody making the decision to burn the boats rather than just walk away with a handshake, no matter how upset they might be about the situation. Now, you can't control the way anyone else chooses to behave, customer-wise or employee-wise, but you can definitely make a choice for yourself as to how you will react if they decide to burn the boats. So let's have a think about it for a second. If we're going to do a handshake, or we're looking for a handshake when a customer is upset and is threatening to go somewhere else, the best way to resolve that type of conflict is to try and disarm them first. So letting them know that you're willing to listen to their feedback. In fact, you appreciate it. You appreciate feedback, whether it's good or bad, because it will help your business grow. In the case where it's bad feedback, you may not agree with it, but in any bad feedback, there's always at least one thing you can take on board in order to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen again next time. So for that reason, we should have gratitude for that customer, that they've brought it to your attention, and even though they've said that they're going to go somewhere else, we can wish them the best, thank them for their custom up to that point, and we part with a handshake. We part as friends, technically. The same with an employee. You don't want a situation where there's high conflict with an employee leaving, because that'll upset the balance for all of the rest of the team members. And what's more, it puts you in a bad mood and it can ruin your day. So if you've got an employee who looks like they're on the way out, they're being a bit negative, you don't want them to get to that point where it's a big scene, it's a big confrontation, because if there's one thing we know about you guys as workshop owners, you don't like confrontation. So what do? You invite your employee to the feedback forum table. And if you don't want to make it a formal feedback forum, then invite them for an informal chat, because you want them to air their grievances, but in a constructive way. So make sure you set up some nice framework around that so that it doesn't descend into a slanging match. Now, if you're not sure what I'm referring to when I'm talking about a feedback forum, then search here on YouTube for a video a few weeks ago, and you'll find out all about feedback forums. So in any conflict situation, when you're trying to calm somebody down, you just need to remember that the person who's asking questions is in control of the situation. And if you've got someone who's upset, then just keep asking questions, because they can't keep being angry if you're asking them to use their brain. It's making them forget about the anger for a second while they have to think about the next thing that they're going to say. So keep asking questions, slow the conversation right down, and you will find in most cases that person will settle down and you can have a rather civilized conversation. But if they've chosen to burn the boats, then there may come a point where you need to, just like with the customer, thank them for their feedback, but then offer the suggestion that perhaps this isn't the best place for them to be right now, and perhaps ask them to consider that it might be time to move on. If they choose not to move on and stay in the negativity and want to stay in your workplace, you look at some performance management measures in order to manage them out of your business. So in summary, it really is up to you to ensure that you show up the way that is integral to you. So a way that is in alignment with your values and your integrity. Just because somebody else has decided to burn the boats doesn't mean that you need to react in the same way. And I know that sometimes that is hard, but what we need to do and remember as a business owner is that we are always on show for our customer, for our team, and for those who are closest to us. So if you choose the handshake instead of burning the boats, you'll find that you'll be rewarded more in kind with the same type of behaviour from those around you. I know you will have found this useful. Let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. And if you know that you need some help in your auto repair shop, then click the link down below in the comments, and we look forward to speaking with you on the phone really soon.